What experiences in the past year have most influenced the direction of your work?
I think producing Vooza and seeing which episodes really get a response and what's working, and not even the audience response, but just an internal response of like, oh, this is what's working, and this is the tone to take, and this is the level of reality to have, and this is like, oh, like narrative arcs are working better than just the ones that are like quick cut, edits of like a bunch of jokes put together, and like just sort of learning by doing and like being like, oh, well, this is what's working best. So now how do we do that more, and sort of drilling down on that. And I think also, like sort of learning about filmmaking and script writing in a way that there's a different way to tell jokes or to communicate, when you're, writing a screenplay than there is when you're performing something on stage. And so I think learning that, or learning how to tell a joke visually, or, kind of playing with the medium of video, and how can you use that to do something that you couldn't do on stage, which is like a neat thing to learn about. Like, I still don't really consider myself a filmmaker, but like, even just, watching a documentary on the history of film and like learning about cross-cutting, and then being like, I wonder if there's a way to do that in an episode that would be funny. And like, so there's an episode where we're like ripping off a scene from Silence of the Lambs, or not ripping off a scene, but like how they shot it.
Right.
And like, okay, so like, let's take that same way that they shot that, two different scenes happening at the same time, but let's apply that to, people releasing a new feature on a website, and how would that go? So, but it's fun then to just sort of be learning a new medium in that way.
What's an example of a piece that you've shot that's worked better than others?
One that was successful, in the past few months was about, what if people were honest when they exchange business cards, and what would that actually be like, and about, how silly people's job titles are, and why do we even have business cards? In fact, like, you'll go to a meeting where you already have the email. That's how you set up the meeting. And then people will give you a business card, and you're like, you're just giving me garbage to throw away. I don't need, like, I'm not going to fax you. I wouldn't even know how to fax you, so just sort of going into that. But like, I think the interesting thing there was to create an episode that was entirely based on people telling the truth, but in a way that makes it absurd. So having the truth be surreal at the same time. And I think that's like, I enjoy when comedy comes out of something like that, and seeing how that worked well, and then being like, okay, so now we've done the honest business card exchange. Maybe we should do the honest Kickstarter campaign or something. What is something that people are always talking one way about, but actually meaning something else, or what's the reality behind the facade, especially with like online stuff. I think there's so much of this, superficial facade of everyone liking everything and everyone being friends and everything's, this big success. And, what's the reality behind, all this stuff, and, people's, on Facebook, everyone's, having the best time in the world. And then you talk to them in real life and they're like, oh, things are not going well, and it's like, so what's really happening, and what is the internet doing that's, sort of masking a lot of this stuff?